Hi, I'm Nafisa Nazir.
And I'm Leah Horick.
And we are Sustainability Ambassadors at Southwestern University. We created this podcast to help make our campus more sustainable.
And our world too.
So tune in every other Friday to hear more about what's happening in sustainability at SU and to learn what you can do to live a more sustainable life.
So many things, guys.
Thanks for listening.
And stay sustainable.
Good morning, Southwestern, and thank you for joining us for a brand new semester of Sound Sustainability. I hope everyone had a good break and stayed safe. Today, we are talking about sustainable business practices. And back on our show to break this topic down for us is Veronica Johnson. Good to have you back, Veronica.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, so as you all may or may not know, Veronica is the sustainability coordinator here at SU, and she has been the main driving force between pretty much all campus sustainability efforts since she got here. Maybe not quite all of them, but a lot. You do a lot of work, and I'm always continually impressed. And as of this semester, Veronica is also the professor of a class named Sustainable Business Practices, which both Nafisa and I are taking.
Yeah, so sustainability and business are usually seen as inherently opposed, but there are some talented and driven people working to change that mindset. These days, many companies are working to incorporate sustainability into their business objectives, especially in light of the climate crisis. So, since you're an expert on this topic, Veronica, we have some questions for you.
Okay.
Our first question is, what made you decide to start this class?
Oh, that's a great question. And that stems mainly from my MBA program. So I am, while also being the sustainability coordinator at Southwestern, I have been pursuing my master's in business administration in sustainability with Bard College. That MBA program is one of the few in the entire nation that actually embeds sustainability within its entire curriculum and really stresses the importance. If you want to get things done and change the world, you have to be able to speak the business jargon and make changes from the inside. I found my MBA program very valuable in what I do as the sustainability coordinator, translating everything that I'm proposing, whether it's LED lights or solar panels, recycling education, back into the business case. And that really helps things get implemented. So to answer your question, when I was an undergrad, a sustainable business class did not exist. And I noticed that it did not exist here at Southwestern. So seeing the opportunity that this could provide to future business leaders or just future environmentalists who want to actually make change happen within the system, they needed to have that foundational knowledge. So I approached the business department and said, hey, here's a potential syllabus of a sustainable business class. Are you interested? And the rest is history.
That's so awesome.
I know.
The class is a kind of weird mix of like business majors who are mostly athletes, and then the rest of us who are all like environmental studies, sustainability people.
Yeah.
So
well,
I think we can all learn.
We are the only environmental studies major, and then there's a couple minors, but the rest are all business, and I have a couple psychology majors as well. I was actually surprised. I thought it would be half and half business and environmental studies, but
I guess that is true because Nafisa, you're a business major.
Yeah, I am.
Allison, the other eco rep in the class, or sustainability steward. We've been rebranded.
Sustainability ambassador.
Oh, ambassador. Gotcha. She's a psych major, I believe. So
yeah.
Well, it proves. Hope this will be a fun semester. So, in your opinion, what does it mean for a business to be sustainable?
Ooh, that's another
open-ended question.
Yeah.
Well, really, it's leaving the world better than the way you found it. That a business in itself is selling a product or service for the greater good, whether that's an article of clothing to keep you dressed or food to keep you fed. It's doing those type of things in a way that's creating good jobs, isn't hurting the environment, and hopefully has a positive impact on society and the communities in which they operate. It's very easy for businesses to just think, oh, it's all about the money. We're just going to create this product that's going to destroy everything, but it doesn't matter because we're making money. that's not a sustainable business. A sustainable business is using the economic forces for good.
Of course. And do you think that it's important for businesses to incorporate like social sustainability as well? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Especially as we're currently facing this global pandemic and economic crisis. Unemployment is higher than it's ever been. And recognizing the human capital of your employees is critical, because without your employees, what do you have?
right, yeah,
So given, in keeping the crisis in mind, I know a lot of people will say like this is the last, like this is not the time to think about sustainability, like we're hemorrhaging jobs and money and the economy's, in the toilet, and how could you even think about like, higher taxes or, doing more expensive business practices for the sustainable long run. Do you have anything like an answer to that kind of mindset?
Now is the time to care about sustainability, because if we continue pushing off sustainability, thinking that it's a problem for 2030, it's a problem for
yeah,
2050, when 2030 and 2050 hit and we haven't addressed the sustainability challenges such as climate change,
yeah,
preventing future pandemics, making sure everyone has, a living wage, that's going to bite businesses in the ass.
yes,
Um, Take, for example, the agricultural industry. If we're in a widespread drought and we can't water our plants and the bees are gone and we can't pollinate our plants, we'll have no food as a society and we'll all die. Now,
yeah,
that may sound very dramatic, but it's true. If you want your business to be around for many more years, you need to actually start scenario planning, acknowledging, okay, first of all, science exists and it's a fact. And two, if these things happen in X number of years, how is that going to impact my ability to do my business?
right,
Yeah, we don't want to end up in a dystopian future where only like the mega rich can afford water and like have their own little like biodomes, and the rest of us are out in the wasteland.
Have either of you
yeah.
seen Snowpiercer?
What was it?
Have either of you seen Snowpiercer?
Snowpiercer? I have
No,
not.
It is a very fun movie. I'll just leave it at that, and then you could look it up on your own time and decide. It is a future where we messed up the climate.
oh wow,
Climate fiction is so interesting and also
yes,
terrifying
It
to
is
me.
very graphic. I'll warn you there.
Yeah. I think one of the scariest movie I've ever watched, I think, is Wall-E.
oh,
Because because the
yes,
world is just trash. Like the whole planet is trash. And that is so scary. That's scarier than any like Chainsaw Massacre I could ever
I know,
see.
right?
We're
Okay.
already close to getting there.
Yeah, all right.
So as we're talking about business and sustainability, I kind of am curious about what your take is, or why you think there has always been a kind of a disconnect between business and sustainability.
Um, I wouldn't say that's necessarily true. I would say Milton Friedman, which you guys read about in the first class, kind of
Yes.
destroyed the idea of how businesses should run for the last, 50 so years.
I just wanted to
Um,
slap him through the page and
I know, right?
through time.
yeah, he was a leading economist of his time, and his theory of, businesses, their only responsibility is to create profits, really dominated the conversation and the story of business for several years.
Hmm,
However, that's to say that that is for all businesses for the past several years is not necessarily true, because there have been innovative businesses who have been creating good products. Businesses such as, which you'll learn about this upcoming week, Interface. Ray Anderson was the CEO of your basic carpet company.
oh,
And once he read Paul Hawkins' The Ecology of Commerce, he realized, wow, I am a plunderer of the earth. I'm destroying the planet. I'm leaving this future. It's going to be a barren wasteland. I need to change my business. And he completely transformed the way his business operates. And now Interface is one of the most sustainable carpet companies out there, and has aimed to have their entire product line not only carbon neutral, but carbon negative.
That's so good. Oh, I'm so excited to be reading about them. Oh
Well,
man.
he will be a TED Talk, but regardless.
Ooh.
Yeah, hearing about them, being educated.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
cool dude.
so kind of going off of a little bit of a tangent with Milton Friedman, because I know he talks. And we read the article that he wrote for the New York Times. I think it was in the 70s. And at first, I was reading it, and I was like, "Oh God, this guy sucks. He's a capitalist stooge," which he is. But also, like, he did kind of make some points that I kind of agreed with. He was talking about how if it's on businesses to be sustainable and to create value for the community, then it's kind of a non-democratic process because they don't have to go through all of the government hoops and processes that we've set up to distribute money equally and distribute resources equally. I mean, in practice, it doesn't really work that way. But yeah, so I was curious about what your thoughts are on that, because I do think that businesses have a duty to not be plunderers of the earth and to enrich their communities, but at the same time, I wouldn't want the sustainability of the world to hinge on the whims of Elon Musk.
Well, that's a good point. And this is something, again, that you'll learn later on when we get into the social economy module of the class, is that, like it or not, we actually need businesses to solve social problems. The business as usual, not in the sense of business, relying on nonprofit organizations, relying on government has not been working, because in order to make things happen, you need money.
Yes.
And you can rely on Bill Gates or Elon Musk to donate, or you could have a business that actually generates revenue and then puts that profits back into these social causes. Whereas if you're a nonprofit doing the exact same thing, you're relying on those donations. So if you want to get things done, you have to be having a constant source of profit, because otherwise you can't solve society's problems.
Yeah.
You have to solve problems with money, and the way to generate money the fastest and most efficient way is through business, because you can't rely on NGOs and governments.
Right.
Yeah. My sister works for a nonprofit, and it's just, every year all of their money comes from grants and fundraising. So it's every year they have to do it all over again to find the sources of money to pay all their salaries. And it's they could be doing so much better if they didn't have to spend their time on that,
Yeah.
Is it possible for all businesses to incorporate sustainable business practices?
I would say no, because some businesses are, I would say, unable to be fixed. And the ones that come to mind,
oil industry,
oil and gas, that like ExxonMobil may be able to exist, 20, 30 years from now if they change their entire business structure, instead of, having a very detrimental product that, for one, isn't even going to last for, several more decades. They'll only exist if they transition to a renewable energy source. So they may exist in the future by adopting a whole new practice, or a whole new good and service. But if they stay with the status quo and they're just like, oh, we're going to have clean coal or carbon capture technology, that's cute, but it's not actually going to help. And again, scenario planning. What does 2100 look like? Will we even have an oil stock? So it's about thinking strategically about, if you are the CEO of ExxonMobil, you should have been thinking about alternative renewable energy sources years ago.
Yes.
That's what always amazes me, because I'm you have so much money at this point. You know that you're going to run out of oil, and you know that there's going to be a market in renewables. Why aren't you throwing all your money into renewables? That seems like the more, it seems like the preferential option, even from a money perspective, because you're going to stop making money at some point from the oil and gas. People are weird. Humans are weird things.
So just to apply this, like, close to home as Southwestern, do you think Southwestern could benefit by implementing some of these business practices that you'll end up teaching this semester?
Actually, funny you asked that. I'll be giving a abbreviated version of this course to all the facility supervisors, so that way they're on board with the concept of sustainability. But
Awesome.
also, I'm already doing this.
Yeah.
I mentioned beforehand that even if you're not an entrepreneur or a business owner, or even going to sell your soul to the corporations, if you want to make environmental or social or just basic sustainability changes, you have to speak the business sense.
Yes.
So Southwestern technically is a business, but it is a nonprofit education institution. Regardless, I still have to make the case that this will save money, that this is going to cut our operational expenses. And because of that, we can use that money to reinvest back into our infrastructure, reinvest back into our students, offer more scholarships.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, Southwestern isn't this profit-making institution that's sitting on a pile of gold. It wants that profit to reinvest back into the institution. And if we don't have that profit, then Southwestern isn't going to last that long. That's how it is for all businesses. But in the educational sense, when it comes to implementing sustainable practices, it really matters, that financial component. Yes, we can say it'll attract more students, that it'll boost employee morale. But at the end of the day, the projects that will have the financial benefits are going to be the ones that are going to be implemented.
True.
Yeah. Where are we at the solar farm?
That one, we're still waiting on the city of Georgetown to allow a 10 megawatt system. Right now, they're limiting all customers to 10 kilowatts. So one day.
Boom. All right. Well, thank you so much, Veronica. That was all super interesting, and I'm looking forward to learning more in your class.
Same.
So now we move on to the news.
Yeah, so as we said last semester, this is just a reminder that the Treasure Chest, our on-campus exchange store, is open this semester on an appointment basis. So if you have some stuff that you want to donate or buy, then definitely check the Treasure Chest out.
Yes, and also this semester garden sessions will be held on Saturday mornings. Haven't ironed out the time yet, but check on the SU app and the garden Instagram if you would like to attend. And do we have any other sustainability news, Veronica? It's a bit early in the semester, so we're still working it out.
I mean, the dates for the Georgetown Green Film Series have been set. The first one is February 18th, which is a while away, but that'll be a good one. It's Cooked, which is a documentary about the 1995 heat wave in Chicago that predominantly killed people in minority, low-income communities. So it's really connecting the environmental justice to climate resiliency.
Well, that sounds like
really depressing.
Good/bad film, like an important but not pleasing film.
Right.
All right. Well, we will be back in 2 weeks with another episode.
Yeah.
All right. It's good to see y'all. So exciting to be back, even though this is my last semester. Gotta make it count.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Bye, everybody.